So I got an amazing box of orange Ilex from our friends at Sun Valley. And so we've been making arrangements with those, and I think it's really fun. So our first one we started off with was this one, where we used their calla lilies and the orange Ilex. This one is actually called Gold, second arrangement that we made. And this one has ranunculus. So if you want to see how these two are made, go back and check out the other videos. And so now our third arrangement, we're going to use the very intense orange one, and it's called Flame. Okay, so we're going to use that with some beautiful lilies that have a little bit of a flame in them as well. So this is the Flame, okay, and very intense coloration. This is the Gold. It's kind of a mellow yellowish color. I love it. And then this is the orange. So orange, Gold, Flame. All right. And so we're going to use the Flame for this bouquet. And we're going to be using some gorgeous lilies. And Sun Valley does an incredible job with their lilies. They're absolutely amazing. And the thing I love the most about lilies is the fact that when we use them, we get a second wave of blooms. And we'll talk about that when we're working with them. So we're going to make this today in a container like this. It's one of my favorite containers. It's from Accent Decor. I use this one on the dining room table all the time because it holds a lot of flowers. I can visually see where the water level is, so it's easy for me to add water. It's easy for me to monitor. It's easy for me to arrange in. I like that it has a pedestal base. I like that there's great reflective quality to it. So all in all, everything is really good with it. We are closing in on the end of the garden time here in Grand Rapids. I thought it was over. We actually had snow the other day, but then this past week we've had 70-degree weather almost. So isn't that wild for November? And so there is a couple foliages out there that I still can use. And so when we were cleaning up and doing the cleanup the other day, I noticed that we had some scented geranium. So I wanted to use what was left of my scented geranium because it's going to give us a fragrance, and I like that. So I cut a few pieces of it and stuck it in my little bucket back here. There we are. But yeah, even though after the snow, I still have a little bit of scented geranium that's rocking out in the garden. So we're going to use that to create a structure inside our vase. And I love that that's just going to sit inside there. This piece I cut off is still going to be good in there as well. Actually, I think I'm going to put him over here. I'm going to give him a little bit of support from the other one. There we go. And then this one here. And again, I love having, foliage as that starter inside my bouquet. I want to make sure that I don't have any of that foliage falling below the water line. And because I'm using scented geranium in here, a CBBN tablet might be helpful because it could help us, control bacteria a little bit. The one thing about the scented geranium is it's gonna create bacteria a little bit faster. We had used our Chrysal Professional 3 inside the vase right here. So it's going to give food to our flowers. That's super important for our lilies, okay? Not just for this foliage, not for the Ilex, but super important for the lilies so that we make sure that those lilies are going to perform and do the best that they possibly can and last as long as they possibly can. So we're going to do that. And we are going to use this Flame orange Ilex in here. So again, we're creating that structure inside our vase that is going to allow us to put our lilies inside here as well. So all these guys are working together. Our foliage is providing structure, and our Flame Ilex is providing structure as well. Look at how pretty that looks. I love Ilex, or winterberry, as we call it here in Michigan. I love it. I love it at Christmas time. It's one of my favorite things. They have a video online that you can go watch called Favorite Things, ubloom.com/favorite things. And it just talks about, some of my favorite things when it comes to Christmas time. And one of those is the winterberry of the Ilex. And I love getting that Ilex from Sun Valley. It's beautiful. And there's red for wintertime. I think Lane in his I think Lane, in his secret laboratory at Sun Valley, is also coming up with other colors of Ilex. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe there's going to be a cream colored one or a green colored one, or who knows? He loves to grow things. And I think that that's the coolest part about this. So I love that there's 3 different colors of orange. We have the gold, we have the orange, and we have the flame. I think that that's wonderful. I want just a couple more pieces. So I'm going to open up one more little bunch here. 5 stems in a bunch. And again, I leave it kind of on this cellophane so I'm not chasing the berries all around. That's the fun part though. You know, I mean, people are like, oh, well, do you have to chase the berries? Well, yeah, that's the fun part. Having those berries around, I think it's really great. And so see, I really feel like I need 6 pieces. Well, that's 6. This is going to be 7. 7, my lucky number. Perfect. Okay. So there we go. That's going to be perfect. Where are you going to sit? Maybe right there? Yeah. Or right here. See, sometimes I just got to pick and pick and pick and pick and pick till I get it right where I want it. There we go. That's exactly where I want it. So put these guys back in the water. And get our berries. So when I got these in the other day and took them out of the box, they were all buds. But I put them in my Chrysler Professional 3 and look at how they opened up. They are just incredible. And I just love the way those lilies look. Now you'll notice when I'm laying them on the table, look at I'm pulling them out of here gently and carefully, and I'm laying them on the table so that their blooms are off the side of the table, so that I'm not crushing the blooms as I'm placing them on the table. I'm going to set them off to the side, and I typically do this. I mean, this is just kind of the way that I work with them because I want to make sure that everybody stays beautiful until it's time for them to go into the arrangement. The other thing that's important too with the lilies that I always suggest and tell people this, and I think that this is super important, is that I add lilies last. When I'm making an arrangement, the last thing that I typically add is my lilies because they are delicate and they're gentle. And we need to be gentle with them because they're delicate. Better grammar, J. There we go. And so obviously on here too, we've got a little bit of pollen, and I pop that pollen out of there before it goes into the arrangement because it's going to make my lily last longer because the pollen isn't going to get on the stigma and it's not going to go down and start to make a flower. Okay. It's also not going to get on my table. However, if I got it on my clothing or if I got it on a tablecloth, I could set that tablecloth or my clothing in the sun for 3 hours before I wash it, and magically that pollen will disappear. It's an amazing trick, right? Okay, it's just really wonderful, and so that's what happens. So I told you I was going to tell you another secret about this. The reason that we're using Chrysler Professional 3 is because as this lily starts to bloom, it's going to need food, and the food in that water is going to open up these other lilies and keep the foliage green. And that food is feeding this flower the whole time that it's opening. So what you're going to notice about this bouquet is these 2 lily blossoms are going to fade, and then this one's going to come on, and then these 2 are going to come on. I talk about the second wave, which is typically about 7 to 10 days after the first one. So lilies are such a huge value for us because we can utilize those in our bouquets and we can get so much longevity out of them. It's just incredible. Now look at how that picks up the color of that flame Ilex. I just think that's amazing. So again, I'm stripping the leaves off, and I'm not taking all of them off. I'm leaving these up at the top because we need those to transpire and create photosynthesis. When they create the photosynthesis, then what happens is then it produces and it causes suction and pulls up the water up the stem. So that's the thing that we need to remember about these. Now, this is the perfect time to pull the pollen is when it hasn't powdered up yet and it's just open. In season 3 of Jay Schwanke's Life in Bloom, you are going to be introduced to a tool that my grandfather created, Carnation Joe, for Easter lilies. And it's a special little tool that he created that my cousin and I would use all the time. And we would go out, and just as the Easter lilies were opening up, we were able to get inside with this little tool and pluck out the pollen so that our Easter lilies would last so much longer. And that's just a great thing to remember, is pulling that pollen out is going to make those flowers last longer for us every single time. So really, really important. That and using our Chrysal Professional Glory. Okay, so I'm spinning this around and looking at different sides. I love working on a Lazy Susan because it's just perfect for that type of thing. Now, sometimes you're going to have a blossom. This one's broken, but don't throw that away. Put that in a little bowl or in a little vase and set it by your bedside. So, or put it in the bathroom, because no matter where we see those flowers, we are going to be experiencing the health and wellness benefits of them. Even if it's just one little bloom like that, it's going to make us feel happier and more calm. It's going to make us feel less depressed. You know, in today's day and age, with all of the stuff going on right now around us, it's super important that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're doing more self-care to make sure that we're feeling better. And I just love having flowers around the house. I mean, that's one of the great parts about my job. But, you know, look at that. This is just going to be spectacular on the dining room table. And make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because we also take pictures of these and we post them on Facebook and Instagram during our flower cocktail hour every day. That's what we do. A flower cocktail hour. Kelly and I get together, we make a flower-based cocktail, and we talk about our day, and we look at beautiful flowers, and we share pictures of the beautiful bouquets that we've made. So just follow us there and you'll be able to do that. And also, obviously, if you're here, make sure you've hit that subscribe button on YouTube so that you're able to catch all of the different videos that we make. Whenever we make them, you can set up a reminder so that you can catch the premieres. And typically when we do a premiere, I hang out in the chat room and we chat. So you can ask questions and things like that. Obviously, always you can ask questions of me at any time. Just send me an email, the letter j@ubloom.com, and I'll answer your questions that you have. Or if you're making something, send me a picture. I want to see what you made. And especially if you go and pick up some of these beautiful orange, gold, or flame Ilex. I want to see what you make, because I think that's the best part, is sharing what we're able to create. Now we have 10 stems of lilies here. And that's the thing that I love about this bouquet, this special vase that I used here, is that I can get 10 lily stems in there, but also I could split them up. I mean, I could have put 1 or 2 over here. I could have put 1 in the lily bowl that we had. So, I mean, we have different opportunities to use different things. Now look at this lily too, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 blooms that are going to come on. This one's going to be open in a day or so. Then 2 days later, 3 days later, 5 days later, we're going to get a week or longer enjoyment out of this beautiful flower. So that's why lilies are just one of my favorites. I really, truly love them. And this is a hybrid, an LA hybrid, I believe, an Asiatic lily. And it doesn't have a fragrance. So I know that some people don't necessarily like the Oriental lily smell. I personally do, but I understand that some people don't. I have a really good friend, Madonna, my best friends. She doesn't like the smell of lilies. It's okay. So she could have this type of lily and it wouldn't bother her because there's no fragrance, right? So look at how beautiful that is. And we still have one little bloom that we can tuck somewhere fun. You know, just put it in a room, or hey, maybe your daughter or your son, just drop it in their room. Because you know what? When flowers are around, we feel more creative. We are able to solve problems better. And so if they're doing their schoolwork, that could be really helpful for them. That'd be a great thing. So look at how pretty that bouquet is. I think it's just lovely, right? And so what I'm going to do is I just want to line these guys up. And again, the 3 different kinds of orange Ilex that are available from our friends at Sun Valley. Sun Valley Group. This one is called Flame. This one is called Gold. It's kind of a mellow yellow color. I like that a lot. Thanksgiving, wouldn't that be fun? And then with their beautiful ranunculus. And then this one was with the Xantidacia or the calla lilies. And look at how pretty that is. So 3 different ways for us to use these beautiful Ilex blooms and to make fun arrangements. And it's simple, it's comfortable, it's easy. I want you to remember, to enjoy the process. Use cold water. Make sure that you're adding your flower food to your water. It's going to make your flowers last longer and your project be better for you. You get good quality flowers, buy beautiful flowers so that you can make beautiful arrangements. Every single one of these, absolutely gorgeous, right? Because I know I can depend on the people at Sun Valley. So I want to thank my friend Jenny for helping us with this experience and sending these to me so that I could share them with you. I hope that you love them. Follow Sun Valley. They also have a wonderful blog, so you can check out their blog too. And they've got a blog that just talks about the flower industry and what they're growing and the cool things that they're doing in Arcata, California, where they're growing California grown, American grown flowers. So pretty. So until next time, keep having fun with flowers.